Hello and welcome to today's Facebook Live Friday training. And today we're covering positioning, or how to define your competitive edge, and USP. So today we are going to cover why different is better than better, what a USP is and why you need one, how to write your USP with specific examples, and then how to scope out the competition. So I have a couple of freebies for you to download. You can get the overview of this whole process that I've been walking you through at craftingcreative.com/checklist. And then I've created a very special bonus packet to go along with this specific training that you can get from craftingcreative.com/USP. In case we haven't met before, hey, I'm Megan. I'm the web design strategist behind craftingcreative.com, where I work with other service-based entrepreneurs like you, like copywriters, coaches, business coaches, OBMs, life coaches, just anyone that wants to get more clients with less hustle. Those are my people. And in this web training series that I'm going through, it's the exact steps that I took to go from barely booked to being booked out and actually having to turn away some clients. First, we talked about what makes your brand stand out and how to define your website goals in a way that works for your business. We talked about how to do ideal client research the right way and why I don't recommend surveys. And then today we are talking about your competitive edge. So let's get into it. With tens or hundreds of potential options out there, you have to answer the question, why should I buy from you? This is a quote from Fizzle. I love their podcast, and I felt that this is so relevant to today's training because that's what the USP is really all about. It's answering that question, why should I buy from you? And you need to answer it quickly, like right away when people land on your site. Otherwise, they're going to bounce. Different is better than better, but as Ramit Sethi said, don't be different for the sake of being different. Be different to be better. Let's talk about how we can do that. So I'm sure you've heard of Derek Halpern, right? He's the CEO behind socialtriggers.com. But did you know that he grew his email list to, I think, over 125,000 in less than 2 years? Yeah, I didn't know that either. But he was talking to Ramit Sethi about this, and he said that there were 3 things that he focused on in that time period to skyrocket his list growth to 125K. So it was positioning, authority, and promotion. For positioning, he said he didn't want to be a Me Too blog. He didn't want to say the same things that everyone else was saying. And I know that you've experienced this. I definitely have. It feels like you're in an echo chamber sometimes because one person will say, oh, purple is the best color. And then you see all these other people saying, oh, purple is the best color. We want to stand out. We don't want to be a Me Too blog. You want to find 1 to 3 areas of focus that you're going to own that you either have a completely different perspective on, or that your take on the topic that's being discussed is a different take on it. Once you've identified your areas of expertise or your thought leadership, you want to say the same things over and over. Like, don't be afraid to repeat yourself, because we can see this not just with Derek, but with Denise Duffield-Thomas of LuckyBitch.com. So she has become known for being the go-to expert on money, mindset, and manifesting. And she's done this by repeating the same things over and over in her trainings, in her free content. And it's not repetitive in a way that is like, oh God, stop talking about that. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. You are an authority in this field, and I trust you now because you're always talking about this stuff. With proper positioning, we can actually build our authority. But you can also be seen as an authority by proxy. So Derek called this transfer authority. And one example he gave was, if you were to put on a police uniform, the uniform would transfer authority to you, meaning people that didn't know you would think you had the authority of a police officer. This concept of transfer authority we can apply to our business by doing things like guest posts, or by getting people that already have some established authority to mention us or share our work with their followers. So actually, my friend Hallie Gray teaches in her program exactly how to do this relationship building, a guest posting strategy, and how to identify your thought leadership pieces and write that content. So if you haven't checked out her program, Be Booked Out, and you're curious about it, you can send me an email or DM and we can talk after this. The last thing was promotion. You've heard of the 80-20 principle, right? So Derek did his 80% on promotion and his 20% was about focusing on creating really valuable content. So rather than to blog every day or even every week, he just wrote a few really great pieces and then he promoted them. Blogging is actually a great strategy to do all three of these things. You can position yourself with your thought leadership content. You can build authority by getting guest posts and writing for different publications. And then you can promote it authentically because you have content that you know is really good that you want to share and that other people want to share as well. Now, what is a USP? So a USP stands for unique selling proposition. This is also known as your positioning statement. So I don't care what you want to call it, like your USP, your positioning, your proposition, whatever. The point is that you're being very clear about what you do, who you serve, and how you help them, and that you're doing that right away when someone lands on your site. Because if they have to go on an Easter egg hunt to find out these things, they're just going to bounce. They're going to click away and go to someone else that tells them what they do. The three parts that you need to have in your USP: who you serve, what you do, and how you help them. If you want to include a little bit of the why you do it, that's fine. But the brand message is really what focuses on the why, whereas the USP is more about the what and the how. But if you've gone through my Web Foundations workbook and you notice that I outline exactly how to write your brand message, that's the difference there. Why do you need a USP? Well, imagine this. You are a coach with a comprehensive group program that you want to sell out, but the copy that you've written for your sales page isn't that great, and you know it's not going to attract all of the people that you want it to. You decide to hire a copywriter, and you've narrowed it down to two people: Alfalfa and Barley, A and B. Alfalfa positions herself like this: I'm a copywriter that works with creative entrepreneurs to craft sales copy that converts browsers to buyers. That's pretty good, right? But let's take a look at Barley's. So she says, hey, I'm Barley. If you're a creative entrepreneur looking for an easygoing wordsmith with a healthy respect for chocolate, then I'm your girl. I'll work with you to craft a sales page that sells like hotcakes. You can see the difference here. Alfalfa uses that standard formulaic positioning statement, whereas Barley infuses hers with personality and she gets very specific about what she does. To help you craft your own propositioning statement, I want you to ask yourself these three questions. So first, what do you want to be known for? For example, I want to be known as the go-to expert for improving your website's effectiveness so that you can get more clients with less hustle and enjoy more freedom. And then question number 2, if someone were to ask one of your fans or followers what you do, what would that person respond with? What would you want them to respond with? So, for example, someone might say of me, oh, she's a web design strategist that works with creative entrepreneurs to craft their website as a tool for business growth so that they don't have to hustle for clients and they enjoy more freedom. And then the last question I want you to ask yourself is, if I were to give a 60-minute workshop, I would cover blank. For example, I might cover the first 3 essential pieces of crafting a website that converts leads on autopilot. Once you've gone through and you've asked yourself these questions, you've gotten some responses, you've put together a USP that you think this might be the one, I want to walk you through some checklist questions to ask yourself to make sure that you've gotten it right. The 3 U's. Is it useful? Does my ideal client understand the usefulness of it? And to borrow a quote from this great article I recently read, he said, they should not look to dazzle with style over substance. So do not look to dazzle with style over substance. Make sure that you lead with substance with what you do and you don't rely on your style to carry your customers through. Number 2, is it unique? So does this sound like all the other coaches or copywriters in your industry? So make sure it's not something that's applicable to anyone in your industry. Make sure that it's unique and specific to you. Number 3, is it uber specific? Remember that clear beats clever every time. Even though we enjoy being clever and that feels like a way to inject personality, we still want to be really clear. So don't make vague promises that can neither be kept nor broken. Make sure that you're very specific. Now, let me walk you through some examples. So this is a past client of mine, and we worked together on her homepage to craft the copy in a way that really got across who she serves and what she does. So let me break it down for you. The who, she's pointing out in 2 places here by saying busy woman or time-starved ladies. The what is that she's serving up health tips, specifically health tips about aging gracefully. And then the how is aging gracefully without depriving themselves. Here is a shorter one that also includes all 3 of those from a previous client, Dawn. So copywriting for offbeat creatives who need words with wit and polish. The who here is offbeat creatives. The what is copywriting, and the how with wit and polish. So you see, you can make it a very simple statement and keeping everything very succinct, but still have all the pieces in place. This example is from Amy Hoy's website, Stacking Bricks. Let's break it down. So the who here, in the choose your own adventure section at the bottom, she's saying you're either a business owner, an entrepreneur, or you want a business. So you're like a wantrepreneur. So that's the who that she's speaking to. The what is building your business, shipping more stuff, making more money, and helping more people. And then the how is one win at a time. This example is from Regina. So the who here is someone that is legendary or epic and really wants to teach others online. The what is teaching, publishing, and selling online. And the how is through her free 4-hour training. So let's get into a couple of examples that aren't so good, and I'll tell you why. So in this example, there's no who and there's no how. It's just the what. And unfortunately, this is something that I see a lot, particularly with other designers. You're just saying branding and website design. That's not enough. That's not positioning you different from anyone else. Definitely get in there, rework the statement with a who and how as well. And maybe the first call to action wouldn't be work with me, because you want to establish some rapport first. This example does have the who and the what, but it doesn't really have the how. It's kind of vague. There are a couple of reasons why I don't like this. The first reason is that it uses really vague language, like take your business to the next level, or grow your biz, or authentic engagement. These terms don't really mean anything. So if you could be more specific than that about what next level is that you're taking them to, and how are you doing that? Also, big thing to point out here, when you land on the site, immediately you just see a big stock photo and the logo in the navigation, and that's it. You have to scroll down until you even see the USP. So you want to make sure that you place that right up front and center so that within 5 seconds of landing on your site, someone understands who you serve, what you do, and how you help them. Please, for the love of God, please just tell me what your company does. That's what this USP is all about. You're just making it very clear what you do, who you serve, and how you help. One way that you can really stand out from the competition is to actually look at the competition. Look at how they're positioning themselves so that you can position yourself differently. Don't just make assumptions. Don't just make something up. I actually want you to go through a proper audit before you dig into building your USP. So you can get a copy of this exact spreadsheet that I use. So that's at craftingcreative.com/USP. Some things that you want to look for when you're doing a competitive audit. You want to look for the good and the bad. So what are they doing really well? And what are they doing really poorly? You want to look for words and phrases. So what key words or phrases are popping up again and again in their copy? What do they keep repeating? You want to look for the features and the benefits, the way that they talk about their services or products. And then different and better. How can you position yourself differently and better? Is there anything that they're missing? This is a real question that I got from someone. I'm having trouble finding brands in my market that don't already have a pretty sizable following. Is it okay to still use them when coming up with my USP? You may feel like you're not competing with those brands because they've been established longer or they have a really sizable audience. But it's not about list size. It's not even about revenue, because we're crafting a growth-focused brand. So you want those people to be your competitors, right? You want to play on that same level. So absolutely you want to use them. The key 3 things to look for when you're pulling together potential competitors to do this audit. Number 1, they are serving the same audience. Number 2, they're in the same area of expertise. So maybe you talk money mindset and so do they. And number 3, they have a similar service, or if they're not selling services, they have a similar product. You want to do this because you want to notice how are they talking to your audience? What kind of marketing messages is your audience already receiving so that you can position yourself differently? All right, let's recap. So first we talked about why different is better than better. We talked about what a USP is and why you need one. And then we talked about how to write your USP with specific examples, both good and bad. And lastly, I walked you through how to scope out the competition and what to look for. So far in this web prep checklist series, we've covered how to define your website objectives for your business, how to do ideal client research the right way, and we just covered how to find your competitive edge and write your USP. Next week, we'll talk about how to systematically craft your brand style and create a mood board, plus why you actually need to do this before you go into writing your copy. So once again, you can grab the free downloads that go along with this series and this lesson from craftingcreative.com/checklist or craftingcreative.com/USP. And in that special positioning packet that I've put together, you will find trigger questions to shake loose your USP. You will find checklists to make sure that you've hit that sweet spot, how to test your positioning in 5 seconds with the tool that I recommend, and then bonus resources for finding your uniqueness in your personality. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I will go through and answer all of them. I will see you next week on this Facebook Live, and I can't wait. Thank you.